Alright guys, here's the trade recap for today, August 13th. So in the morning, this was my just really fast pre-market analysis. Come over to ES, just looking at ES. Where was like the previous day high and everything, and how was the charts looking? So in the morning, right, we had this major resistance zone where we kept selling off multiple times in the past over here. So this was kind of like a key level in ES. As long as we got above here in ES, I was expecting a bullish expansion for today, and off the open, we did see that. So this was an important level on ES. We also swept out major liquidity throughout the overnight session down on the 1 hour time frame. And on NQ over here, we took out liquidity down over here. And also that 30K level, remember we rejected it multiple times here. So once we finally got above 30K over here, I was expecting a bullish reaction, and that's what we got. So we ended up getting above, we got a retest, and I basically played the longs all the way back up. And this is what the maps looked like then. So in the morning, over here, we had, when I played the longs, we had the QQQ 727 and SPX and SPY were pointing up. So this is, I believe, at 42. Yeah, 942. So at 942, SPX and SPY got the pullbacks. And then we had the upside targets on SPX and SPY. So when I took the longs all the way back up from here, my target was the SPX and the SPY nodes. And I remember I took, I believe, like one contract off here and just left my runners all the way up to the SPX. And I fully got out here, but I didn't enter any sort of short just because I wasn't expecting like a full V band reversal like in the morning. Like that wasn't something I was expecting right off the bat. Now, where is it at 11:20 here? Because we had this divergence between NQ and ES, where we saw NQ was making, like, it was still going as ES was pumping, and then NQ slowly started to follow. So when I took my short, if you actually come over onto, where is it? I glitched the page, my bad. On my page, I posted my levels for NQ today. So 3113 was a level I had. So 3113. This is a key level I had. And I had another level where I was predicting NQ high day was going to be 3235. So 3235. I was off by a couple points, but it is what it is. So this was the short I took back down over here at 11 o'clock. So I shorted it back here once we got below the key level I was looking at. And I basically took the shorts all the way back down to that 113, and then I longed it back up, which I'll explain exactly why. So when I shorted it here at 11, looking over at the maps, now SPX and SPY were already rejecting, and we were already having the rug to the downside from SPY all the way down to 776, and Q's was a bit diverged. So once I took the trade, we actually hit the 733 Barney, and that's when I shorted down just because everything was still pointing lower, and SPY and SPX were already dropping, Q's were lagging behind. Now, also something I wanted to note when you're trading the IBs, right? If we look over at ES, if I were to mark out the IB high to the IB low on ES over here, the low to the 10 a.m. high, right? This is your fib. And then here's your golden zone. So you had your nice test of the golden zone on ES. And in this golden zone, we got a reaction out of it and moved higher. So this is from that IB low all the way up to the 30-minute IB high. And then over here, you can actually see oh wait, the IB was over here. Well, still we were still in the golden zone, and this is where I took my longs at NQ, just because I had the structural key level there as well. So we never on NQ. I wasn't really expecting a pullback to the golden zone, just because look at how far the golden zone was compared to the high. So like we had a really far way to go, and ES was already hitting his golden zone, and it was already approaching a kind of hit or miss area. So I commentated saying that on SPX and SPY, when we got down here, right, we had this king node here at 776. And on the Trinity, we also had this small king node here at 7780, which also became a strong positive. Now, it was a do or die situation because over here we were going to end up getting a dump if these nodes didn't hold. But if we kind of look, right, SPY didn't really have much downside, neither did SPX have much downside, right? There was still upside on SPX and there was still upside on SPY. Now, when you're looking for shorts, you want downside to fade and you want upside, or no, I said it wrong. You want downside to grow and you want upside to fade. We did not see that whatsoever. We actually saw the complete opposite where we saw downside still growing and upside was shrinking. That's going to be kind of a key indication to me that these shorts are probably going to be low probability, and that's why I said it's kind of a very strong bullish area to hold. So now when I took my longs, it was when we got like the retest of the QQQ node, and look at the double bottom we had over here on SPY and SPX. You got this nice double bottom. We reclaim major support. We reclaim the QQQ support, and then we bounce back up. And then if you look again here at 1441, we had that. This is where Glitch was commentating, where we had this strong SPX king node, and QQQ also had the 732, and then we got a new high at daybreak. Now at the end of the day, we also shorted the break of the high a day just because look at this double top, right? If anybody paid attention to anything John Wicks or Glitch has been teaching us about Timmy Hudson double tops, this was almost perfect. We shorted this back down, and then we ended up getting a reverse rug pull that played out from 734 all the way down to 733. And if you guys want me to like keep commentating on the Oracle Index, like let me know if this is helpful and this helps you guys. Because like I said, like I basically called this out. I was saying Pika stack here is strong in QQQ, which we can see. SPY has a reverse rug back up, and SPX still had the upside up to 6, 7, 800. So, and then I also said that we want to see a bounce, and maybe QQ makes a new high a day with the air pockets up to 734. Look at that, right? 734, 736, all still accumulating to the upside. Now, what do we know? Well, would you look at that? Exactly played out. And where did we get up to? 734. And then, like I said, 734 target. 734 target got hit. And what do we see at 734 towards the end of the day? A rug pull to the downside. Rug pull to the downside on SPY. And then we get our dump towards the end of the day. So we see that throughout the end of the day. And then we get our dump back down. And then we shorted this back down. So that was like the main trades I saw today with the retracement zone on ES aligned as well. I also did a IB class where I explained the IB and everything and how I used the fib retracements just so people could start learning and understanding how I use them. And they automatically get marked on Atlas, which is very good in W2 Developer. So over here, if you mark the IB high to the IB low, turn the magnet off. Golden zone right here getting hit from the 618 all the way back up on SPY and SPX. And double bottom as well, even for more confluence if you want to wait. And then when QQQ also played the major support. So that's what I was looking at for today, and yeah. Yeah, so those are probably like I think those are the best setups you could have looked at for today. I mean, technically, we also swept liquidity here on SPY and SPX off of this wick, but no. But hopefully that helps. On the single tickers, like I didn't really see much as well. I know SMH had like these nodes that we played off of, and we actually did have a double top on SMH and stuff like that, but I didn't really see much alignment. I think I've been getting way better reading the indices and stuff that I don't really use much conviction on these, but when I do see them, they still work pretty nice. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah.